The Border Management Authority is still keeping an eye on developments in Mozambique that could impact the Lebombo border post. Violent protests continue in the neighboring country as some citizens are challenging the outcomes of the October national elections. The processing of cargo remains suspended at Lebombo border post as trucks are being targeted by protesters. And on the Mozambican side, Mweli Masilela is now joining us live to give us an update. Mweli, a very good morning to you. Tell us about what the situation is like currently in Mozambique and the impact that is having on the South African side.
Aldrin, yesterday we spoke to some of the South Africans who were coming from the Mozambican side. They actually went there for leisure, but they had to cut their trip short. And what they are saying is that the situation is very bad. That's how they described it, to say that even a number of roads that they were using, they had to pay some of those people who are in the forefront. And as far as this protest is concerned, they spoke about some of the police vehicles as well as government, as well as private buildings that have been torched by those people who are protesting, going further to say that from what they've seen in Mozambique, they would advise people who want to visit the neighboring country to actually don't do so because of what is happening. And of course, the situation is of huge concern at the present moment, not only for the people of Mozambique, but also on the South African side, because when you look into the issue of those prisoners that have escaped, there is a huge possibility, you can't rule that possibility, Aldrin, that the first country they can skip to is South Africa, considering the fact that we would know that some of on the borderline, there's quite a number of illegal crossings that are used by people who are staying near the borderline to cross between the two countries. Speaking to the Border Management Authority, they've made it very clear that as much as they are continuing with the normal operations, now it is a bit calm, but they are still continuing with those operations, not only to ensure that there's smooth traveling between the two countries, but also to clamp down on crime, which includes the issue of smuggling of illegal goods and many other things. As you know, also there's the issue of the theft of vehicles, mostly on the South African side, into Mozambique. But they are also going to issue a statement later about the issue of the prisoners that have escaped in Mozambique, as to how are they going to keep a close eye to ensure that they monitor along this borderline. We'll hear from the BMA later in as far as that is concerned. But of course, the issue of cargo, it remains suspended. There's no clearance at this point. Those trucks that you are seeing behind me, they've been standing there for about 6-7 days now, because they are already they've already crossed the first part of the border, so they have to stay there until they get that green light to say that they can now cross to Mozambique, because there's still that concern, Aldrin, that the situation is bad and trucks, especially those that are carrying minerals, they are being targeted by the protesters in Mozambique. Yesterday, there was a queue here of about 1 kilometer of trucks. We are told that those truck drivers have been actually instructed by their employers to turn back and take those trucks to depots and then go home because of the current situation in Mozambique.
Yeah, and of course, this is an ongoing situation as the police are trying to recapture those that have escaped from the prisons. One of the other parts around this is following the Constitutional Council's declaration that Daniel Chapo has won the elections and his inauguration is planned for next month, so in the next few weeks. Is it known from the government official side about what they're going to do going forward? Because the protesters are intensifying the protest action, it seems.
Well, by the look of things, because some of those people we spoke to, they're actually saying that this is the highest court of the land. Now that they've actually made that proclamation, whosoever is going to act against that decision now, he or she will face the full might of the law. In fact, some of the people we spoke to are expecting that the security forces in Mozambique will now act will have even a hard hand on the protesters because of this decision that was pronounced by the court. But of course, looking to both Mozambique and South Africa, you'll know that the Minister of Interior from Mozambique was here in South Africa meeting with the Minister of International Relations, Ronald Lamola, to try and find solutions in terms of what should happen now going forward. And Pretoria has made it very clear, Aldrin, that they are ready to assist to try and bring all the involved parties together and find a solution, because this has got a devastating impact not only in Mozambique economically, but also South Africa, because these two countries are enjoying trade relations as well as political relations. That is why we've seen most of the time even the leadership of the country congratulating, especially the ANC, congratulating Frelimo for winning the elections. Of course, some people feeling that South Africa is not doing enough to assist Mozambique to come out of this situation. So we'll see as to what happens going forward, because even during that extraordinary summit of SADC, there wasn't much of a concrete resolution taken on Mozambique as to what is it that is going to happen. In fact, some people are saying that these organizations, both in the African continent as well as abroad, they are dogs that don't bite. They are there, the structures are there, but they don't believe that they are assisting in situations like what is unfolding in Mozambique currently, Aldrin.